Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. Today I'm trying madly to catch up with all the book reviews that I haven't done. I hadn't realised that I hadn't done so many. I know I haven't filmed many videos lately, but I didn't realise that I was this far behind. So I'm going to be doing a 1.5-minute book review. Today I am bringing you a review of Dear Fatty by Dawn French. I read it as an audiobook, so I'm going to tell you, basically try and summarise the plot and tell you my feelings about it in a 1.5 minutes. That's easier said than done because, well, I think it's going to be really easy because I read this book or listened to it so long ago that I barely even remember it. But anyway, let's go. So this is a review of the audiobook Dear Fatty by Dawn French. It basically is an autobiography or a memoir. I think she describes it as a memoir of the comedian Dawn French. You may or may not have heard of her. British comedian. It's not told by her, although there's a little bit at the start where she says basically too emotional to read your own thing, but she gets Lisa Tarbuck reads it and they have a very similar voice, very similar sort of style of humour, so I think that she sums up Dawn French's sort of character really, really well. Generally, it was alright. I pick my audiobooks based on the fact that I can rent them from the library and they don't have a massive selection, so I didn't go into it thinking this was something that I really needed to read. But I think she's funny and I thought it would be interesting. And that was basically it. It felt a bit meh because it was alright. I didn't feel that it told a lot of sort of... Sometimes I think when you're reading a memoir or an autobiography of a famous person, you're kind of looking for something that you didn't already know. And whilst there was lots of stuff that I didn't already know, none of it was particularly exciting or interesting. She seemed to have quite a positive outlook on everything. And I've read people afterwards who've said that was quite a negative of the book because she said positive stuff about everyone, but I think actually maybe that's just who she is. Some people are just like that. Although interestingly, she's quite positive about her husband, who she is now not with, so I do think, stop. I do wonder whether or not she was just trying to be positive. Anyway, if you've read it, let me know. It would be really interesting to know your thoughts on it, or whether you've read any other autobiographies. I used to read a lot of them when I was younger, and I didn't really know what books to read, but I haven't read any in ages, so it'd be cool to know if there are good ones out there. Today I'm reviewing another audiobook. This time it was The Picture of Dorian Gray. So this is the audiobook version of Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. It was told by Stephen Fry, which was probably part of the reason I got round to reading it. But the long and the short of it is, from what I understand, it's basically the guy who has a picture painted of him, and then the picture ages and reflects what's going on in his life, but he stays young eternally and goes mad. I think that's probably it. I'm not going to lie in that I wasn't 100% into the story, and I probably have missed a lot of it, so I'm sort of now thinking, do I even know what the plot is? For me it was just a bit... It was easier to understand than I expected, because I thought it would be typical classic where it's quite hard work and I could tick along, but I think a lot of the metaphor and the imagery and stuff just passed me by, like I just wanted plot. And I think there's an element of it being a classic and being an audiobook that didn't work for me, that I thought would, because when it was being read I thought, oh good, this is going to really help me, because hearing Shakespeare makes a lot more sense than just reading Shakespeare. But it didn't work for me. I felt like quite a lot of the time I was missing the point, and perhaps that would have gone in a bit more if I'd been reading it. I don't know. I don't have massive success with classics in general. What can I say? I would imagine it's one of those books that if you study it and actually with somebody else, they help you to pick it apart and look at the finer details and all the stuff that you don't necessarily realise. It's probably really good, but it just didn't float my boat, to be honest. If you've read it and you want to tell me stuff about it that I've probably missed and whatever, that would be great, but you're fighting a losing battle because I wasn't enthralled. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.